Now, we are going to be talking today about Age of Sigmar. So, a little bit on how to play it, and about the gaming book they have out for it. And the reason why we're talking about that is because at the moment you've got two books on how to play Age of Sigmar. The reason I say two books is because you've got the lovely core book, which you can see quite big, quite thick, contains quite a lot, which go through your contents when you get to them, and it covers the rules, backgrounds, forces, battle plans, open play, narrative play, match games, and that's it in that one. So quite a lot in there. So that's one book. Then they've got another book for it, which is the General's Handbook. This is used quite a lot for your match plays, tournament plays. Open page. So we've got open play games, narrative games, match plays, and Conquest Unbound. That is just your allegiance abilities. And they used to, yeah, I think it is still in here, points for all teams, but looks like they don't do that now. That's quite surprising. Didn't the old General's Handbook used to have a points list?
Yes.
Yes. So, the 2019 version of General's Handbook doesn't actually have the points cost for everything. Very peculiar. It did last time. That is the 2018 edition. Just make sure it's not in there properly. Because at the end of the day, I don't say it hasn't got something in there when it has. So, it hasn't got that in. Now, and what we're talking about is the gaming book. So, you'll be able to figure out the trend of how it's going. Book and book. First one, second one. Now, how big is the gaming book, you ask? That's how big the gaming book is, which I'm quite surprised about, because I thought it would be an actual A4 size. Probably at least thinking about the thickness of the General's Handbook, but to which it is a tiny bit thinner. Now, the reason why we've got this is because we want to see whether it's any good compared to what we did have. Because before, we found when it came to playing games, we were going through both books to figure out what's going off, because some rules were mixed match. Not only that, when it came to playing a game, we didn't want to do just the basic, oh, you kill me, I kill you, or you try to take my objective, I try to take yours. We wanted to have a nice little challenge. So this has got quite a lot of scenarios in it, or battle plans as they call them. So that's the reason why I've got this, and I've got the rules. So hopefully you'll be able to play everything just with this book. Now, the one thing you won't have is your points list. You will have to rely on your faction books for that. Or I believe there's another book, Pitched Profiles book, I think it's called. I will have a quick look for that now, just to make sure it is Pitched Profiles. So that way we know we're pointing in the right direction. So, Games Workshop website, always resourceful and handy. Age of Sigmar. No. Gaming books. Oh, so we've got the core book, gaming book, handbook. So at the moment there is no book there, so how about we look through no, it's not in that one. It might be in the Battle Times. Deep in the stock listing. 63 entries in this for the rule books for your different factions. Now we know there's not that many in Age of Sigmar, but just because they do electronic copies as well. So it looks like they do not actually have a book just for the points cost the units. You will have to go for your actual battle tome for your faction to get your points cost for it. So that's right there. So hopefully everything is in this book we need minus your points cost. Now, there are different ways of playing this, and we've got a little in introduction. And the chapter headings, you've got the core rules, so it goes through what you need to play and how to play. You've got match play games, which is your pitched battles. Then you've got pitched battle plans. It goes from page 26 all the way up to 57, so you get quite a lot in there. It says on the description you get 31 battle plans. Technically not right, we'll cover that later. Then you've got the realms of battle. Now with Age of Sigmar it gets played in different realms if you want to. Now each realm comes with different qualities. Aspects. Comes with different aspects and different bonuses to it. And so they've got all the different realms there and what bonuses you do get and what tables you can roll for various abilities and things. You've got your artifacts that go with the realms. Then at the back of the book you've got your allegiance abilities. So it covers quite nicely there. So we'll get straight off to how to play. What is Age of Sigmar? So for those that, well, we'll cover this for those that do know Games Workshop products and those that don't. So Fantasy Battle was called Warhammer Fantasy. Almost got a bit. So it was Warhammer Fantasy. Had quite a few editions, quite a few thick books, and it spent quite a lot of time in the rule books playing rather than actually playing it. But then people enjoy that way and still play it to this day. Then Games Workshop decided to change their image for the fantasy battles. Kind of killed off the entire universe for that, but then chucked them into a different one. And now we have Age of Sigmar, and it is in the realm of Sigmar, I believe. Could be wrong, but you get the gist of the idea. So some of these facts are not exactly right, but you get the gist of the idea. So the realm that Fantasy was based in got destroyed, but they ended up going to a different realm. And the main good god was Sigmar, which is why they then poster boys for Age of Sigmar is the Stormcast Internals, otherwise known as Sigmarines, because you have as many chapters in Sigmarines as you're starting to get in Warhammer 40,000 with the Space Marines. So with Age of Sigmar as well. It's a simpler version than Fantasy, and it's a simpler version of 40k. The reason why I say this is because it is. One of the things that happened when they did swap to Age of Sigmar is the rules got a lot simplified, which did quite a lot of people did find it quite good. Yay, like it, nice and easy to play. Some people threw a paddy, burned their armies, stuck it on YouTube in protest. Different varieties of reactions there. So, core rules. Starting off here, just covers that your battle plans is basically the type of game you're going to play. So we'll cover the type of deployment you have, how to field your army onto the field, onto the table, then the deployment area you have, the type of mission you have, the objectives, how to score your victory points and how to win. That's your battle plans. It comes onto your raw scrolls next. They are your data cards, your data sheets for your units, which will have all the information on there on what your unit does, what stats it has, what abilities it has, what it can do, what it can't do. Covers about your armies, what army you choose. So you've got different alliances. You've got chaos, order, destruction, and death. And then within that, you get your other little factions. So, like I mentioned before, you've got your Stormcast Eternals, you've got your Elves, you've got Orcs, you've got your Undead, you've got your Ghosts, you've got your Chaos. Obviously, I've said the Chaos. You've got your Demons as well. So you've got lots of different factions within those alliances. Talked about units that they have, obviously different units, different types, basic troops, mounted troops, artillery units, monsters, that. Tools and rules, tape measure dice. It mentions about re-rolls and roll-offs and how to go about them, because people can get quite touchy on how to re-roll. If it's a cocked dice, what counts as a cocked dice. Shop rule is if the dice is not cocked, if you can put another dice on top of it. Now when we say a cocked dice, if it lands on the table straight, it's not cocked, but if it's at an angle, so it's not fully on one side, it's counted as cocked. But then if you can put another dice on top, on one surface, then it's not. Obviously with cans of drink, there's a lot more weight to it, but it's going to be cocked either way you look at it. Dice, a little bit more temperamental. So, skipping pages here. So that's why they mention about roll-offs and how to decide things and re-rolls when it comes to should I re-roll that, shouldn't I re-roll that. With some of the abilities you get and what certain units can do, they will allow you to re-roll dice. And one of the things that does get mentioned whilst playing games is, oh, that re-roll can't initiate another re-roll. For example, some mechanics that people use is an exploding dice. Not in Age of Sigmar. Exploding dice means once you roll a dice and, for example, it's a 6, it allows you to roll another dice. If it's a 6, then you get to roll another dice, and so on and so forth. But with Games Workshop, the way it generally works is once you roll a dice, it gets a result that is written on the sheet for unit. It will allow you to then roll one more dice rather than that effect keep rolling over and rolling over until you don't get the result again. So technically, from one dice, if you get this really long explanation for this part, if you roll a 6 and you keep rolling sixes, you could be good there all day rolling sixes and just getting lots of dice. Here it's just, you get a 6, you re-roll that. If you get a 6, you're not going to re-roll another one. That's generally how it works, rule of thumb. And that's it for that page. Obviously it talks about the battlefield, the actual type of table you have for it. So where it does do different realms, so you'll have like a fire realm, you have a metallic realm. Most of these games can get played on just a table with a mat on it. As you can see there, green on there, grass meadows. But some people like to make different types of sceneries, different realms, so whatever you put for table, you put down for it. Now we get to the fun part on how to actually play this. So, general turn of a game. I'll put that there. Keeps it down there. So, after you've had set up all your models and units, this is how it changes from 40k. You start off with your hero phase. That means all your heroes, all your generals, your leaders get abilities, and in the hero phase they are allowed to do these abilities, and the actual state in the profile for it when you can and can't do it. It says in the hero phase you can do this. There you go, you can do it there. You also get command abilities. Command abilities and command points still work in your hero phase. Some command abilities take place in different times, but if you're unsure when, it'll actually say on the profile. If in doubt, read what it says, it'll explain it. But you go through a hero phase there, we do that. Next will be your movement. Then you get to shoot with anything that has a shooting profile, or what we call missile weapons. After that, you get to charge with any units that you want to. Then you do your combat phase. After that is battle shock. This is where you find out whether you lose any more models than what you killed. The way that works is if you've got a unit of 10 and you've killed 3 models, your battle shock phase means you've got a chance for those other 7 models, or some of them, to actually run away from battle. So you've got a chance of doing more damage than what you can actually do with actually rolling dice. Now, that's how it is. Why this is so easy is because, one, there's 6 steps to it, and that's it. There's not much dice rolling involved. One of the big bits that stands out from this, from 40k, is when it's your turn, you do your entirety of your turn. You do all your movement, all your advancing, all of your shooting, all of your psychic phase, and then all of your end phase. With this, with Age of Sigmar, you do all of your bits up to charging. Once you've done your charging, then it alternates with your attacking. So once you've got 2 models on 2 units, opposite teams and players, side by side, and they start doing the combat phase, you choose which unit you want to activate and fight with. Once you've done all that attacks that unit, it's then the opponent's turn to choose a unit to attack with. Then it alternates until all those units that are able to attack have attacked. That's the big difference, because before, like I said with 40k, it's everything in one go. Then it's the opponent's turn, everything in one go. This, it's more balanced. It's more, I take my turn, you take your turn. No, it also makes it a lot more tactical as well, because when it comes to choosing a unit to fight with, you've got to decide what's the best unit to attack with. what units are you okay with taking damage on? What units would you rather take out first rather than have them do an attack on you? So on that side of things, it makes it quite good for being nice and tactical, rather than just sitting there going, right, I've deployed everything, fingers crossed I can survive the first attack on your first turn, because quite a few players just go, there's everything, and then I've tabled you in about 5 minutes, and that's your night done. This way it makes it slightly more difficult getting a 1-turn win. So that is your turn sequence. Going through that then, with this inside as well, you attack in, you've got wizards in this as well. So you get spells to use as well. With the spells, they generally get used in the hero phase. But with that as well, if they can be used outside the hero phase, they will state whether they can be used outside the hero phase. Some of them will say, oh, during your combat phase you can cast this spell. Or they'll say during the hero phase, cast this spell. And generally, you roll some dice, you've got a set number to beat. For example, our casting value is 7. That means you get 7 or higher. Once you've rolled 7 or higher, you then get to cast a spell. It does that effect. With spells as well, you can dispel. So if you've got an opponent that's got a wizard nearby, they've got a chance of going, actually, I don't like you casting that spell, I'm going to see if I can stop it. They roll a dice and try and negate it. With the attacking and causing damage, when it comes to quite a good reference since it's 40k or around time, because it's best in teams. You've got, you roll to hit, you've got your strength and your toughness, to which you need to figure out what you're then wounding on, or doing the damage on. Once you've figured that out, they've then got a chance of saving it. Then, depending on the models in 40k, you've got your invulnerable save. So, you roll to hit, take consideration modifiers, work out the strength and the toughness of the unit, of what you're shooting with, what you're hitting, find out what you need to wound on, roll that, then they roll the save. In this, it's a lot easier. It's you roll to hit, then you roll to wound. You don't have to look at any kind of toughness or strengths of anything. It's simple. To hit, I'm hitting models on a 3 up or a 5 up. Okay, I'll roll a 3, I'll roll a 5. I've managed to hit. Okay, to wound that model, I need to look at my profile. There you go. I'll wound on a 3 up. You roll a 3 up. There you go. You've hit. You wounded. There you go. Only other thing that needs to be done past that is your opponent needs to roll for their save. So for beginners into this game, it's easier than 40k because you're not got to worry about right. Okay, let's look at this. Strength is equal to their toughness. That means I'm hitting on a 4. That is right, isn't it? If the strength is equal to toughness, it falls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my strength is greater than the toughness. Oh, I'm on 3s. It saves the having to look at the opponent's stats or asking the opponent, oh, what you guys got? Okay, I'm doing it on this. And it saves having to remember what your opponent models have got, all their stats. It's you're focusing on your own stuff. It makes it a lot easier for remembering and playing. So that's quite good when it comes to wins as well. Now, with this as well, you do get a nice little bit to help you cause extra damage, because you still get, oh, this weapon can cause more than one wound or damage. You can cause multiple damage, so it could do 3, could do D3, which is a 3-sided dice. So your model's still got to do extra damage, and they have a rend, which is same as your armor penetration. So it affects your opponent's save roll. So using the right models, you can do more damage because it affects their save, got less chance of saving. What quite a lot of people do with this game is they'll make sure they have units that have that rend, that minus to your save, just because it's a lot easier taking out models. If you got it, take it. It's an easy way of doing it. Most of your basic troops generally save on a 4 up, to which a lot of our averages you've got a high chance of making. If you can affect that though, even from -1, it means they've got a save on a 5. Changes it a lot better. So that covers the causing wounds on that bit. They've got a nice little bit here as well. If you're playing more than one game, this is straight after, well, this is within the rules as well. If you have achieved a major victory, because that's the thing as well for this, not only can you win, but you can do a big victory or a small victory. And if you get a big victory, the next game you play, you can roll on a triumph table and you get a bonus to help you in your next game you play. So chances are most people don't play one game straight after the next, but if you're playing with a friend and you go, right, we know we're going to be playing this over the next couple of weeks, so you know, 1 week I'll win, next week we'll still take into that triumph reward and let you have a bonus for the next game, depending on how nice they are. Other than that, terrain. Now, this is something they've gone in quite a bit more detail in with this book. Before, with the others, it was you divide the table up into quarters, and then for each quarter you roll a dice, and that determines how much scenery you put down on the table. It's quite good. This one is different. Now, on the first bit when it covers terrain, it says you can agree to give your each terrain feature one of the scenery rules. Now with that, it means they all have effects. So you can have a scenery piece, an example, you roll a dice and you could get, for example, damned, which means at the start of the hero phase you can pick one friendly unit within 1 inch of a damned terrain feature to make a sacrifice. If you do so, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So mortal wounds means you can't save against it, it's going straight through. So you got your D3 mortal wounds, and then until your next hero phase you can re-roll hit rolls of 1 for it until your next hero phase, so that's quite good there. So they can give bonuses. Some of them can be quite bad and work against you, they might actually end up killing you off. So after that it goes on to battle plans, which is your game scenarios. So obviously it gives you the title of it, which is always handy. You set up how to actually deploy your models onto the battlefield, any special rules the game has, followed by how to achieve victory. With the victory as well, 9 times out of 10 it will tell you how to achieve a major victory, then how to achieve a minor victory, then without saying it, how to achieve a loss. Obviously if you don't get a victory you get a loss. And then we'll have objectives. Right, so just going to have to pop to the toilet, give me 2 seconds. So, with this book so far, it's already covered the basic rules, which is already in the core rule book, and covers a little bit of the rules that are in the General's Handbook. But with this, I'm quite happy with what's in there. So, in terms of this is what you need to actually play through without any problems. I've flown over the rules for this, but it will cover everything you need in it. It says about with Battle Shock as well, how to kind of split units, because when depending on how you take a model off of the board, you might end up with units split in half, and how to go about what do I do then, how to cover it, because at start there's quite a few bits when it came to the rules on, well, what do I do if this happens and it's not covered it. You have to go online, find the FAQs and go for this way, but this has everything in it. It covers how to pick your targets properly, especially about charging as well, because people have slight disagreements over charging on the distances in there. Then it does cover your raw scrolls and everything in there. Mentions as well, because some people get, oh hang on, it's not got a save, what does that mean? It says, oh, you need a 7+, and people just think, oh, does that mean I roll a 6? If I roll a 6 I get a 1, then I made that save? No, actually that does explain, for those that didn't know. If it's got a line and you need a save of over 6, you can't save, don't roll. It's pointless. So that's quite good as well. So going through the War Scroll battalions, quite a few people that come to doing armies just make an army, don't bother about doing any extras. Once you've played quite a few games, you go, actually, I can take battalions. What are those? That's when your army comprises of a certain force that's listed in your battle tome. It'll cost points for the actual battle tome to allow you to take it, then it costs the normal costs for taking the units in that battle tome. So for example, one battle tome is, oh, if you take 3 basic troops at 300 points, you can then have this effect. So you think, oh, that means I've only got to take 300 points of models and then I get this battle tome. No, you take that 300 points of units, then it'll cost something like 80 points for that battle tome. So you can actually have this ability. And with each battle tome as well, you get a command point to use during your hero phase, or when you have a command ability that says when you can use it. So command points are the same in 40k as hang on, they're not called command points in 40k as well, are they?
Yeah.
They are. They are, okay, that's what I've got started for. So yeah, command points the same for 40k, works the same way. So when you make your list, you get 1 point at the start of each turn. Then you get one for each battle tome you have. Battalions, sorry. Then you can obviously buy command points as well. Once they're spent, they're spent. But you don't have to use them that turn, they can accumulate after each turn and then just use them when you want to. But at each turn, you don't get another point for each battle tome. It's literally at the start of each turn you get one battle point. Unless you have an artifact or something in your army that allows you to get more. So they cover about your battalion's abilities and what they can do, and your next covers into your realm of battles. So that's quite good. So it will cover all of the rules for what realm you're going to be fighting, or what I can't be certainly on for all those abilities it has, and perks and disadvantages. Allegiance abilities. This comes in with order, destruction, death, chaos. Under those, you'll get an extra. You can get access to an ability that you can use that you wouldn't normally be able to get in just your faction. And on top of that, other thing they've introduced into this is endless spells. So endless spells means it keeps going. Once it's been cast, it doesn't dissipate after use. One basic one that gets used, a spell, is Arcane Bolt. You cast it, it does damage, that's it, then evaporates. Whereas this, you got spells, you'll cast it the same way. You will have to pay points to get an ender spell, but you cast it and you're using the wizard. Once it's cast, it will state on its profile on the war scroll what it actually does, how long it stays on the board for, and then what effect it has on the game. So, matched play. Now, there are different ways of, well, not different ways of playing, different ways of making this. Depending on which way you go about it, you can just make a list willy-nilly. So it's, oh, I'm just going to take these models, I'm going to play with it. And then you make go, alright, I'll take these models and play with it. You don't do any kind of points cast or allocations, anything like that. Say, oh, you've got to take so many troops, you've got to take so much artillery, stuff like that. You just go, I'll take this, you take that, we'll have a fun little game. So there's that one. Pitched battles is the main one people play. There's also tournaments as well. Tournament battles are depending on the tournament it does. It has specific rules to it as to how you put the list and everything like that. Pitched battles, like I said, is the main one. Now with this, it says it's got set rules. This is why people play it as well, because set rules, set list buildings. So you've got, we start here for 29 as well, because we've updated it, yay. You can do 1,000 point, a 2,000 point, and a 2,500 point list. So with these, they get called different things. So your 1,000 point one is Vanguard, your 2,000 is Battle Host, your 2,500 is War Host. So it's got your point allocation underneath, like I just mentioned. With these as well, here's the restrictions as well. So, for example, we'll read out the Vanguard ones. You can have up to 4, you need at least 1 leader, but you can have up to 4 leaders. You need more than 2 battle lines. So battle lines is basically basic troops, that's what a battle line is. Then you can have none or 2 artillery pieces. So up to 2 artillery pieces you can have, but you don't need them in there. So you can have none whatsoever. Behemoths, which are your big models. And yet again, you don't have to have 1 in, but you can have up to 2 if you want to. Then your other units is any number, and at the bottom it's got allied units. With this, your main force can be Stormcast Eternals. I keep saying that because poster boys. That could be your main force. If you've got that in 1,000, you go, right, but I want to take some dwarves with me. You go, right, well, I spend 800 points in Stormcast Eternals, then I'll take 200 points in dwarves. So it helps with gaining access to extra things you wouldn't be able to if you were just choosing one faction. Then on top of this as well, it gives you game lengths. So if you want to restrict yourself to a time frame, which can be quite handy if you have other arrangements or you shorten time. Let's say if you're doing Vanguard, it's up to an hour and a half. If it's Battle Host, 2 to 2.5. If it's War Host, 3 hours or more. So it's a good way because most of these games play up to 5 rounds. So you've got 2 conditions there. If you've not met the time limit, you've got the battle round limit. And it's a good way of tidying up games before they actually drag on too long. But then again, if you know you're losing, you can call it quits early. Mutual handshake, there you go. So, as we continue, so then it goes on to generally picking your army, which I just mentioned with the leaders, the battle line, the artillery, the behemoths that way. Choosing your allegiance, your any spells where you pay for everything, points wise. It also says as well your command points, which I mentioned earlier, you can purchase up to 1 extra command point for 50 points. Add the extra command point to the command points you receive at the start of battle. Now, with the pitched battles, this is where they said in the actual description they've got 31 battle plans. So you've got a nice variety on different types of games you can play. So like I said at the start of this video, you're not just going for the, should we play a game? Yeah, you kill me, I kill you. Yay! So with that, the way they've done this is you choose, well you don't choose, you get a 3-sided dice. If you've got it, great stuff. If you haven't, use a 6-sided dice, roll it, halve the result. There you go, rounding up. So you do that, and that will give you 3 tables to choose from. So if you get a 1 to 2 on the D6, it's table 1. It's 3 to 4, table 2 is 5 to 6, table 3. Just thought I'd just explain it just to make things clear. Then once you've chosen your table, you then roll again for 6 different battle plans. So to start off there then, 3 times 6 is 18. 18 choices of battle plans. Then underneath, it's got as well, if you're using endless spells, puts a nice little twist on the games you can play. Before you actually roll for your battle plan, you roll a dice. If it gets a 6, you then roll again on a sorcery battle plan, and then that will give you a type of mission to play. So you get an extra, so that's 20 missions just from this way of doing things. So where does the other 11 come from? Well, what they've got in here as well is 2018 battle plans. Now, some of these pages, well, battle plans have 2 page numbers in them. So I'll hold up the screen there. So you see that. So you notice you got from table 2 downwards, you got 2 different page references. That's because quite a few of these battle plans are from these books. Now what they've done is they've amended some of those battle plans to make a bit more balanced. The way I've said is because I looked at this and looked at the differences, and it works out a bit more balanced. So, and it gives you the option of either playing the new version of it or the old version of it. So, we'll go to the first one, which is on. Hang on, no, before we actually do that, I'm skipping a page. So, with your battlefields as well, it goes on to terrain. This is the more different way of setting up scenery I've seen so far. Could be quite good not to try this with it, but it does mean. Are you recording this? Oh, we've got Beard of Truth and Glory. Yes, we are. We've got the camera set up for the live stream, and then we've got a camera next to it recording it as well. So if people are watching this on Twitch like you are at the moment, then I've noticed we've got quite a few frame rate detected drops, so that means it might be a bit laggy and jumpy. I do apologise for that, but that's the other way why we've got this recording as well, because it means the recording will go onto YouTube, not the stream footage, so you get a better quality on our YouTube page. So yes, that's one of the main problems we have with this. The sync just goes, the sound just doesn't match up. It's like a really bad subtitled movie, kind of like the old Chinese and Japanese one. Oh, hello, kind of like that. But yeah, that's generally. Don't worry too much. If it comes out nice and smooth, great stuff. If it doesn't, you have that option of staying tuned with us and grinning and bearing, or waiting till it comes out on YouTube, which will be in the next couple of days. But regardless of the quality, we still do this because people like to actually just have this on the background whilst they're painting. So it's background noise, which I quite like. So that is why, yeah, it's probably because of the internet connection as well, and service down here isn't too great, but I do digress. That's the reason why it's a bit out of sync. I do apologise. So, with the scenery for the tables now they've done with this, they've got, you lay your objectives first. If the battle plan has objectives, you put those down on the table first. But then you do your scenery. They've got, each player must pick 5 terrain features from the list on the right. That's on the right side of the page. Now, you need to choose 3 from the primary list and 2 from the second. So the primary list has got types of terrain that you buy, the big sections. So you've got like the Azurite Ruins, Arcane Ruins, Citadel Wood, the Dragon Fate Dais, Mage Wrath Throne, and Numerous Sarcodium. Probably messed up like anything. An archway, and the Sigmarite Mausoleum, consisting of the minimum number of modules. So you've got your big types of scenery there, big pieces. Then the secondary list is just walls and fences consisting of 2 modules. So it's also got as well a unique part in this as well, and it is any other terrain feature that is no more than 10 inches across at its widest point and no more than 10 inches tall at its tallest point. And that's from your primary list. So it covers you for bits that aren't actually Games Workshop scenery. If you've got some older stuff or you made something, you can put it in there. It gives you a nice dimension to go with as to what section to put it in. For the secondary list, it's got no more than 6 inches across at its widest point and no more than 4 inches tall at its tallest point. So with that then, it means you've got a maximum of 10 pieces of scenery. Not a maximum, a minimum of 10 pieces of scenery on there. Obviously if you've got the Sigmarite Mausoleum, well, that's actually quite a big set, and you can just scatter that around the table and make it quite scenery heavy. because there's no fun having a table that's got nothing on it, just a green field. Yes, it did happen back in medieval times, in historical battles, there weren't much scenery around. Those battles ended quite quickly. But this makes it a lot more better with cover as well. So they've got this rule in, which I think is a lot better than previous examples, which was divide it by quarters, roll to see if you get scenery in there, then how much scenery you get in there. It makes it a lot better. With putting the scenery up as well, it does say it needs to be so many inches away from the board edge, so many inches away from another scenery piece, and so many inches away from an objective. Saying that, it covers that bit so nothing's too dense, because some people might go, oh, I'll put that bit of scenery there, or that bit of scenery there, that bit of scenery there. I've just made a wall of scenery that you can't get past, and purposely force you to go around certain ways on the board or block certain areas off. This stops it to an effect. So that is quite good scenery. Then they've also got 2 tables for you to choose through as well for effects of it. So each piece you've got on there. This bit I don't use too much, because if you do have a lot of scenery on the table, you've then got to remember what each scenery piece does, to which can be a bit of a ball ache, because you've got 2 tables. You've got table A and table B. So roll a dice. If it's under this much, if it's over that much, that's the table you get to choose from. And there's 6 different effects within those sections as well, so 12 different types potentially. But then you always know you're restricted to 6 within that table. So you've got that chance of, if you go near that scenery, that could be good for you or could be bad for you. So it makes it a lot more challenging and fun, but at the same time quite confusing. So do the one at your own peril. But I'm glad they've got it in and made it a lot better, because they've got 2 different types. So you're not always, oh, it's going to be this or it's going to be that, or it'll always be this or always be that. You've got a nice little variation there. So I quite like that. So going into the battle plans now, which is one bit I'm quite keen on, because I don't like playing the same type of battle. So we've got the first one, knife to the heart. So I'm just flipping through to find the other version. So we've got a 2019, 2018 version. Everything is the same for the setup. And for the objective. The bit that changes is the deployment. So, well, actually the deployment area. So if you go there, if you notice, it's divided diagonally there for your deployment area. So if someone's got the entire red area to deploy in, someone's got the entire blue, then those little black dots is where the objectives are. And it's about controlling those. So with that, you've still got quite a bit of area to cover before you get to the other opponent's objective. Now, 2018 version, sorry, that was the 2018 version. The 2019 version is this one. So you've got a slightly different setup, and as you've got those L shapes, it does make it slightly easier to get to your opponent's objectives. So that's the difference there. Now, they've probably revised it to make it a bit more challenging, I don't know, but quite a lot of these That is what the difference is. It's the deployment area and where they're placing the objectives. The only reason I can see behind doing that is because before people used to play it, they were finding they were getting to the opponent's objective way too quickly, being overwhelmed, and it was an easy lose or an easy win. Quick lose or quick win. So they've probably done this to make it a bit more challenging, a bit more fun. Or failing that, there might be one where it was taking too long to get to, so they changed it to make it quicker. So slightly annoyed they've kind of cheated on the 31 battle plans and just repeated a couple and just slightly tweaked it. Now, a while back they did have Firestorm, I think it was, come out, which was an add-on for this, a campaign add-on, and that came with a deck of cards, so you can actually randomise a mission. You can get a battle plan. The thing is that I only had 12 different objectives, and you realise with that, within that 12, the majority of it was stacked against a certain type of game style, a play style, and army style. So that didn't get played too often because you realise after a couple of games, like, well, as long as I take this type of list, I'm going to win each time. Hopefully, with these battle plans, it's not the same. It's more balanced, because you want to know that if you take a random list, it's still got a good chance of being another random list, rather than going, as long as I take this one, I can win every single game quite easily. Some people might say quite a power gaming. So I'm hoping this isn't the case. The fact there's that many of them is quite hopeful, but that will take a bit more going through and reading through and actually playing through as to whether it is stacked to one side or not. Fingers crossed it's not. So after your battle plans, takes up quite nice. So small section of rules, and then that much of the book for your battle plans, which is quite nice. So it's over, well, so about half the bit, there may be a bit more for it. So it's quite handy, it's quite good. Then it actually gets to the pages that explains the mortal realms. So your different areas you got and what they got. So, example, we'll go to the realm of metal, which is Shaman. So there's, it says as well, wizards will now know an extra spell on top of what they normally know, because of they're in this realm. And then they get a command as well, a command ability. And then roll dice, look at the result table and see what Realmscape features. So, oh, this is quite good. The Realmscape features, this is the actual table. So it says metallic hinterlands. The Realmscape feature has no effect on the battlefield, so that's a bit. Then the next one down, iron trees, is the rend characteristic of weapon goes down by 1 if the target has cover from a wood, from the Citadel wood or the Seneth wildwood. So there it implements certain scenarios on you if you need a certain type of scenery. We've got one which is Rust Plague. At the start of your hero phase, roll a dice and on d6 pick an enemy as in cover. Subtract 1 from save rolls made for that unit for the rest of the battle. So that means in rusty cover. They've taken a bit of the illness from it. So you get a nice bit of effects from it. Then on top of that as well, they've got a list of spells you can do as well. So, Ridges can spend performance of spells that are previously thought impossible. So yes, you get access to 6 different spells you'll be able to do. So that covers all the realms. There's quite a few there. Now, one thing I did notice, which I thought they might have actually put in, is when it comes to choosing your pitch battles and everything, most of these is, you roll the dice to determine what you're getting, what battle plan you get, then you roll the dice to see deployment, then you roll the dice to deploy the objectives. But there's never been anything to say how you choose your realm, which is quite annoying. I'll even go to the starting section just to double check that. So, all central being battle die from randoms for the army is fired only single examples. So yeah, there is nothing for you to choose your realm, which I find a bit frustrating. So you've got a choice of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 7 realms. So if you want to actually choose a realm, you and your opponent are going to have to decide and go, yeah, alright, we'll do that one. Otherwise, you could probably figure out a way of rolling the dice, maybe a D8, don't include an 8 or a 1, and just roll, see what you get. But it would have been nice if they had actually put something in here so you could actually have a random, this is what you're going to get for your realm. Because some people do, those more experienced, they'll actually go, I'm going to build this army, I'm going to paint it this certain way, and say it's from this realm. And then always playing that realm. But then if you say, well, I want to paint this realm, I want to paint that realm, then you get the little argument and a final decision. So I'm a bit annoyed they've not done anything about the realms to make it a bit more randomised. But then with some of these realms as well, you get artifacts. So weapons and bits to help with the battles. After that, then the only bit they've got left in this book is your command abilities. And what you get access to if you're alliance. So, for example, your chaos, death, order, and chaos. Destruction and chaos, yeah. And then that's all you're in there. So, book retails at £20. Apart from how to go about making your list, as to the in-depth of to how you choose how to make it, it does cover a bit in there for your pitch battles. And then, excuse you,
Squeaky chair.
yeah, always is with you, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So if you notice, Matt is actually here, he's just in the background, but we've actually had him replaced with a bag, a bit more useful. So this is actually quite handy, and I would say it's got everything in there that you need to actually play a game. The only bit that hasn't bit is the actual finer points on how to make a list, but your battle tome will have that and actually covers a little bit in here. I'm slightly disappointed, I'll mention it again about the battle plans, but then it's a lot more than previous versions, considering other books have probably had only 6 in. I think the General's Handbook had a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, then it had meeting engagements one, so I had a different section there, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 in there. And then the core book had about, I want to say 6, but I think I'm going to get it wrong here. Turn to the right page. Home play, conquest, narrative, match play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, had 6 match plays. The only thing had in there as well though is narrative play, a different type of play style. So those were actually followed a particular storyline. That's what narrative is. So I had quite a few in there. But say that. Everything you need. 20 quid. Don't think you really complain about that really. I believe there was one thing in here that did actually surprise me in this, if I can find it. Because I believe it referenced a book that we have actually got. Reinforcements and spells, match play. Ah, here we go. So, it says about picking your army here. It says, each unit in a pitched battle is assigned points value and minimum maximum unit size in its pitched battle profile. These profiles can be found in the Pitched Battle Profiles 2019 book. Alright, okay. So, when I did search the Games Workshop page, they didn't have that book there. So, I'll search it now. Pitched. Battle Profiles. It comes up with nothing. Pitch Battle Profiles 2019, yeah. So, I don't think we've had anything on the shelf to do that. Ah. So we do have it. You can't actually buy this anymore.
Not General Handbook.
That's not the General Handbook, it's Pitch Battle Profiles 2019. It's not on the website.
I thought that was in the General Handbook thing. It's alright, you know.
So that shows our special item really, doesn't it? So if you actually look for Pitch Battle Profiles, it's not there, but General's Handbook and ERAL. General's Handbook 2019. Plus pitch battle, but yeah. So, you know what, that's what we get for having an open copy and not a closed copy. That's my excuse. So, that means you cannot buy this separately, you need it with the General's Handbook, but this will actually have, like I said earlier on before, this actually has all the points listed. So, there you go, that's the only difference then. Well, the only major difference that we need for your list making. But otherwise, that is quite a good book. Saying it's a lot smaller than the others as well, so you could end up with all these 3 books to play your game with. But then, in the end of the day, all you need will be that, because that covers everything you need to play, apart from your points list, to which I said will either be in your battle time or will be on that, which is the pitch battles profiles, which I completely forgot about. So we now be doing this for an hour. It's getting on. We will be doing next week, because we've not got time for it tonight. We'll actually run through an actual game of Age of Sigmar. So we'll show. We'll do a little tiny bit of list building. Start off with. It won't be a proper full. My mouth is just completely gone. What's it called?
What's what called?
It is pitch battle, yeah. Won't be doing a proper pitch battle. We won't be doing 1,000 points. We'll just get a leader. We'll get some. We'll get some battle line units, and then we'll get some ranged in as well, and a wizard. So you get to see all the aspects, command points, how to use a wizard, how to do shooting, and then with the other units as well, it's just your basic how to charge, how to do combat, then how to do battle shock afterwards. So we will be doing that next week. So that'll be a nice little video. As always, we'll stream it, but we're doing recording as well. So if like tonight it has been a little bit out of sync, then don't worry if you don't want to watch it. It is a bit counterproductive saying don't watch it, but we do like you to watch. But if you want a better quality, you can always wait till we're up on YouTube, and you can catch us on there with flawless audio and video quality, hopefully. So we'll leave it there at the moment. Yeah, that's what we'll be doing next week. Actually playing the game at Age of Sigmar. It'll be Stormcast Tunnels, and it'll be the 9 taunt models we'll be using. And they'll all be painted as well, which should be quite nice. And then whilst that'll be next Sunday, we're still doing the paint of Star Drake on YouTube at the moment. That's been done by myself and been doing that at home, so that'll be mid-week towards Friday, that'll be uploaded. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and usual, subscribe to us, like us, comment, usuals. All new year, first video, yay, happy 2020. So we'll catch you next week, and enjoy your time until next. Catch you later, guys.